Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining our RoomKeyPMS monthly webinar. This month we're talking about all about upgrades. So let's go ahead and get started with our presentation. I have a bit of an outline. We'll start with some introductions and a little bit of housekeeping items regarding this webinar. Then we'll dive right into defining what are upgrades and how we use those in RoomKey. We'll look at complimentary upgrades, paid upgrades, and our automated features available in the mobile upselling tool. Then we'll let you know when you can start upgrading and using all of these new features, and we'll wrap it all up with a summary and Q&A. So diving into our introductions for today, my name is Tasha LeClaire. I'm a trainer and implementation specialist with RoomKey. Joining me today, I do have our Director of Customer Experience, Mr. William Tam. Now, I'll be leading today's presentation and the demonstrations on screen, and William will oversee the chat and Q&A. So if you do have any questions throughout today's presentation, you can go ahead and click the Q&A button, type in your question. Any questions that are not answered through the presentation, we do have that Q&A, a summary and Q&A at the end where we'll be able to kind of go through any remaining questions there. Now, a couple more things about today's webinar. It is being recorded. You might have heard that little announcement at the beginning here. A copy of the recording will be made available on our support website. And for all of those of you who have registered for today's presentation, you will receive a notification when that video is available on our support website. One last thing for our participants today, you will receive a webinar survey at the end of our presentation. Please answer a couple of questions there. I think it only takes 1 or 2 minutes. And if you do have any suggestions for future topics, for future presentations, go ahead and type those in as well. We really appreciate all of that feedback, and those ideas are great. We've been receiving quite a few for 2024. And speaking about our next webinars, our upcoming webinars, next month, for the month of March, we'll be talking all about overrides, how to override features inside RoomKey. So diving into our topic today, what are upgrades? Now, upgrades are a type of room move that is done for specific reasons and usually at the time of arrival. So we can have different types of upgrades. We could have a complimentary upgrade where the guest is booked a standard room and is given a higher rated or higher level room for their stay, and that is at no additional cost. So the guest is paying the same rate that they would have for the standard room, but they're getting the bonus of having either a larger room, maybe a room with a view, or some sort of enhancement for their room. Now, we can also do paid upgrades. So the same concept where the guest has booked a standard type of room, but they are paying to upgrade to a higher category room. And this paid upgrade, this is where we really kind of define that it's different from a simple room move or changing the room type, because these paid upgrades can also be part of an incentive program for your front desk team. You might incentivize upselling or upgrading and having your front desk team offer upgraded rooms at a price for arrivals at the time of check-in. So, given this information, these are considered manual forms of upgrading. These require someone, a user inside RoomKey, to manually change to give a complimentary upgrade or a paid upgrade. Now, we have one other type of upgrading that is available, and that is automated upgrading. And this is using our new mobile upselling tools. And this tool, it was released in 2023, but we've been building upon it. So not only can you do room upgrades, but you can even offer enhancements or add-ons like parking, welcome amenities, or different services and items during the guest stay, and all of those work towards enhancing the guest experience while they're at your property. Now, what I really love about these options is that it does not require any steps from the front desk team or the front desk agents on site checking the guest in. This is all automated through our mobile guest app. And the guest is actually the one who is deciding which upgrades or which enhancements and adding that to their booking during their pre-arrival process. So before we get to the automated upgrading and all of those features, I do want to focus in on those manual upgrade features and show you how you can go through and do those inside the property. So let's start with complementary upgrades. This is going to be a upgrade that can be given either before arrival or at the time of check-in. Now I have a video here that's going to show us that first example of how to give a complimentary upgrade before guest arrival. And in order to do these steps, this does require permission. It's 342 rate override, because as part of this complimentary upgrade before arrival, we're going to change the room type. But in order to retain the original pricing, we're going to use the rate override tool. So this video is about a minute and 30 seconds. Let's go ahead and watch it here. There we go. So you're going to start from either the reservation screen or arrivals and select the reservation that's going to give a complimentary upgrade. You click the Change Res button or double click on the reservation to access this reservation edit screen. And first thing you need to do is uncheck the book box. And I recommend you take a look at what the original rate is. It's $195 in this example for the best available rate. Now I'm going to go down to the DQQ room, the Deluxe Queen, and here I can see that the price is higher, but I want to use Enable Override, and I do need to give a reason. So in this case, I'm going to select Room Upgrade as my reason and Enable Rate Override. This will now allow me to put in that new price or that original price of $195, and you can see that that is applicable for all the days. I can select the best available rate and recheck the book box. Now, as an optional step, you may choose to go to the Guest Info tab, and down here at the Res Note area, you can add a reservation note just explaining that you've given a complimentary upgrade or comp upgrade, and maybe it's per manager on duty or some sort of authority has given you permission to do that. Anyway, when you're done, you can go ahead and click OK. And you'll see that that guest now has the new room type, but the original rate remains. So that is how you can give a complimentary upgrade before the guest arrives. That might be done 1 or 2 days in advance of arrival. Sometimes you might see that your lower room types are all booked up, but you still have some higher room categories available. You might want to upgrade 1 or 2 of those lower category room reservations to free up that inventory to be sold on a third-party website or through your eRes booking engine. All of those options are available, but just a reminder, you do need to have that permission in order to override the rate. Now let's take a look at another example of a complimentary upgrade. This time I'm going to give a complimentary upgrade during the check-in process. So this would only be available for arrivals, and this does not require any additional permission. I can do this as a regular front desk agent or clerk. So this time I'm going to start from the arrival screen, go ahead and select the guest reservation, and I'll click the check-in button or F5 on your keyboard. Now you need to select Show All Available Rooms and go ahead and click this little ellipsis button, the 3 little dots beside the room number. And this will show all of the rooms. You want to make sure you're selecting the DQQ in this example. That's going to be the deluxe queen room. And then you can proceed with checking in the reservation just like you would a regular check-in. So this database has a credit card interface that's going to process the authorization for the guest check-in. And once that is approved, I can now see that that guest is in-house. They have the higher room category, but the rate remains at the $149 rate for the standard queen. So two different manual options are available whenever you're doing a complimentary upgrade. It just depends on if you're doing it for a future arrival or before check-in or at the actual time of check-in there. Great. Now, the next thing that we're going to look at are paid upgrades. So it's the same concept. We're taking a standard, a reservation for a standard room category and giving them a higher room category. But this time it's going to have an element of payment. So we're going to actually apply some sort of upgrade fee or upgrade charge in order to compensate for that increase. So here I have a video that's going to show you how you can create a paid upgrade at the time of check-in. Now, just a reminder, if you are doing a paid upgrade before the guest arrives, that is technically not an upgrade as we've defined it so far. That is simply a room move or room change at the request of the guest. In this example, we're looking at a paid upgrade where we're applying an upgrade fee, and many properties will actually have some sort of incentive program for their front desk team to be able to track those upgrades and maybe receive some sort of commission from the upgrades that they're able to provide at the time of check-in. So because this is at the time of check-in, this is going to look a little bit similar to the comp upgrade we just looked at. So again, we'll start from the arrival screen and you'll select the guest that is checking in and you'll go ahead and click the check-in button. Now you will select the show all available rooms and click the ellipsis button. And you want to select that higher room category, in this case DQQ, and click the OK button. And then you can proceed with any of your check-in procedures as usual and click the check-in button. This property again does have that credit card authorization that is integrated into the database. So we make sure that we get that approval message. And now that the guest is in-house, we can see that they're in-house with that deluxe room type at the lower rate. So we have the $165 rate, but now we're going to post charge and apply the upgrade fee. So in the code field, this is where you will select upgrade fee. And because it is per night, you want to make sure that it's repeating through the length of the stay, in this case, 2 nights. And I can put the upgrade amount, which is $25 in this case. Now, as an option, you may also want to put the change in room type into the reference field and go ahead and click OK Exit. Once you do that, you'll see the upgrade fee automatically post for tonight. And if you look at a projection of the stay, you'll see that that upgrade is also going to automatically apply for the second night for the guest stay. So in order to do a paid upgrade where you're tracking that upgrade fee and possibly giving some sort of incentive or commission program to your staff, in order to do that, you do need to create an upgrade fee transaction code in the database first. So this is a little bit of an overview of how to create that transaction code. You're going to go to the system configuration menu and select transaction codes. And you're going to create a transaction code very similar to this one here. It says upgrade fee. And you'll follow your standard steps to create the code and attach the GL account or revenue account, and then activate the code. If you'd like to see more step-by-step information about creating and managing transaction codes, we do have a really great webinar in our support website that will show you each and every step of that process. But what I'd like to actually highlight for this upgrade fee when you're creating one is the repeatable pattern here. You must create the upgrade fee with a repeatable pattern that repeats daily and is applicable per room. So you want to make sure those two toggles are selected when you create your upgrade fee. Now, one other thing that I would like to note about this upgrade fee is that this example has been created as categorized as other charge. Now, there are two options that you can choose from. You can create it as other charge, like I have here, or you can create it as a room charge. Both of these options operate in the exact same manner for your front desk team. So for the front desk agent that is applying that upgrade fee, there would be no difference in the procedure for the steps that they would follow there. The only difference would be how this revenue is reported, and specifically how it affects your the ADR value on your reports. So if you create this upgrade charge or upgrade fee in the other charge category, it will not affect ADR. So any revenue that is collected as part of an upsell will not be counted towards your ADR or RevPAR calculations on your reports in RoomKey. That would be considered separate revenue. It's usually just a flat fee with no taxes used for commission purposes, like I said, for the front desk team there. If you do want to have that upgrade revenue appear or be included in the calculation with your ADR, go ahead and create it as a room charge code. So this toggle button, or sorry, drop down menu in the top right hand corner, you would change that to room charge, and then you would go ahead and create the upgrade fee in that category alongside other standard room charges at your property. So a couple of things to keep in mind there whenever you're doing your paid upgrades and kind of tracking that information by upgrade fee charge code. So now let's switch gears a little bit and take a look at the automated features that we have in our mobile upselling tool. Now, before we look at the configuration and elements inside RoomKey, I want to show you what it looks like from the guest perspective. Because if you'll recall, I did mention that it's actually the guest who is going to be choosing, reviewing upgrade options. There are no required steps at the front desk in order to do these mobile upsells through the mobile guest app. So I've got an example here, a video that's going to take about two and a half minutes. It is modified, so it looks as if the guest is viewing this information on their mobile device. And if you'd like to know more information about the mobile check-in and mobile checkout features, we did do a really great webinar last year. So we have that recorded, as well as some smaller videos recorded on our support website that show the full process. This is going to show you the mobile check-in, but I will be emphasizing the upselling features that we'll see as part of the mobile check-in or pre-arrival check-in process. So the guest would receive an email on their day of arrival or 1 or 2 days before arrival. When they click on the link in their email, they'll be brought to this page. Oh, sorry about that. There we go. They'll be brought to this page here, and they can click pre-arrival check-in. They can complete any missing contact information as needed. So here I'm just typing in the email address information and going ahead and clicking next. And this is where the guest will see the available room upgrades. They can go ahead and click on any of these photos, and if there's multiple photos, they can actually scroll through the different options there to get a visual representation of the offer. You can customize the verbiage and pricing for your upgrades, and you can also offer multiple upgrades at the same time. When a guest is ready to upgrade their room, RoomKey will display a change in rate, and the guest has the opportunity to confirm. Next, they can take a look at available enhancements, and again, these visuals will allow them to scroll through or view additional information about an enhancement. They can select the enhancement they want to go forward with by clicking Add Enhancement. And again, RoomKey is going to display any pricing information and allow the guest to select Yes to confirm those changes. Now, once the guest has added that information, it will update here on the reservation details. So I can see that the guest now has upgraded to a deluxe 2-queen room. I can see the upgrade charge is listed here, as well as the other charge, and that is the charge for that enhancement. The guest can then continue on with their regular pre-arrival check-in process. They would review terms and conditions and provide their signature. Once the guest accepts that information, they can click Next. And the next page, if you are using a credit card integration with the mobile check-in procedure, you'll see that the guest can review their credit card information, change their credit card, or simply proceed with the credit card on file. Lastly, the guest will review their arrival details, enter their expected arrival time and any additional comments if needed, and click Complete to complete their mobile pre-arrival check-in. So from the guest perspective, we've integrated that quite seamlessly into the pre-arrival process, where the guest has an opportunity to review all of the details you can provide to them about the enhancements or the upgrades, and they can also review how that updates on their charges. So let's see how you can do a upsell, a room upsell. So because this is completely automated, we need to set up these features in advance inside the upselling module. So you'll find the upselling module in the system configuration menu. And I do want to note it does require 2 permissions in order to access the upselling module. You need permission 2310, which is the mobile module, and you need permission 5060, the upselling permission. Once you've enabled both of these permissions on your clerk ID, you can then access the upselling module, which will appear on screen similar to this. Now, in order to completely configure your upselling offers, you do need to go through a series of steps that are represented by the tabs along the top. We'll start with this first tab, which is the base room type configuration. Here on step number 1, this is where we're going to set up the levels. So you would select a room type, click the modify button, and then assign a level category to that room type. Now, at the same time as assigning a level, you can also indicate how many upgrades you would like to display at any time. So here, this example will display 2 upgrades. So when the guest is viewing the available upgrades in the app, they can scroll and see 2 different options. Now, these options are going to be subject to your actual live room availability. So if an upgraded room type is not available for the guest stay, it will not display or it will not prompt the guest during their pre-arrival check-in. Another thing that I would like to note is that we typically recommend that you choose 2 upgrades or choose to display 2 at a time. You can choose to display more upgrades. It's really unlimited there, but when the guest is going through the mobile check-in process, if they have to scroll through several different upgrades, we find that we have a lot of guests actually drop off and not complete the process at all. They don't upsell, they don't upgrade, they just want to exit out. They get a little frustrated with having to scroll so far. So I do recommend that you keep the displayed upgrades to about 2, and that's the default that we can see here. Once you've selected your level and confirmed your displayed upgrades, you can go ahead and click the Save button, and that will now show on screen. So a couple more things about the levels. Any rooms that are assigned level 1, those are going to be your lowest or most economical priced rooms. In this example, I have my standard queen room at a level 1. You can have multiple rooms at level 1, so I could do standard king, or if I have any other standard room categories at the level 1. But it is important to note that you cannot upgrade within a level, so I couldn't take a level 1 to a level 1. The whole purpose of upgrading is to go up in levels. So if the guest has a room that's assigned level 2, they can only go up to 3, 4, etc. They would not be able to downgrade either to a level 1. Oh, and one last thing as well. This database has displayed all rooms as assigned to a specific level, but if there are certain rooms that you do not want to include in any upgrading or upselling programs, maybe you have a special suite, or if you have any accessible rooms that you don't want to offer any changes because of those specific amenities, it is okay to leave some of these rooms not configured. So they would simply be omitted. There would be no upgrades or upgrading associated with those room types. That's perfectly fine. And many hotels will opt to do that, like I said, for any accessible or ADA accessible rooms and some of the higher level suites in certain cases. Once you've assigned your levels, the next thing that you'll notice on this same screen is that any rooms that are assigned level 2 or higher, you'll see on the right-hand side that you have the ability to upload images and add those images. And these are the images that are going to be used and displayed on screen when the guest is reviewing their upgrade options. So if your property is currently set up with eRes booking engine and you have images of your rooms uploaded to the eRes platform, you can actually import those directly from eRes. So step number 2 here is showing that you can click the Import eRes Images button, and that will pull through any images you have already uploaded to the eRes platform into this upselling tool. You can still manage these images directly in Upselling. It will not affect any of the images as they're set up on eRes, but if you'd like to customize them here, maybe you might want to delete or edit those images, you have the ability to do so on the far right-hand side. Now, if you'd like to add in even more images, there is an additional button that says Add Image up here in the top right-hand corner. So we make it really easy, or try to make it really easy for you to really customize the look of this information. And you'll notice that you can even include a description for each one of these photos. Again, all of that adds to the overall experience for your guest. Great. So now that we have set up all of the information on the base room type configuration, the next thing that you're going to do is the next tab, which is room type upgrades. So this is where you're going to create the different upgrade availability for your different room types. So you're going to do these one at a time. I recommend that you start with some of your standard rooms. Those are the most common ones that tend to be offered upgrades. So this example is using the standard king room. You would click the Add button in the upper right-hand side, and then that allows you to fill out the remaining fields along the bottom here. So the first thing that you'll do is select the base room type. Like I said, that's going to be the standard king or SK. And you'll notice that once you select that base room type, you'll have the level automatically populate to the right there. So my SK is at a level 2. Next, you'll select the upgrade room type, which is going to be the Deluxe King, and that's at a level 4. Then you can give an upgrade title and description of that upgraded room type. Now, the upgrade title, I do recommend you use something that's going to catch the guest's eye and really emphasize the benefit of upgrading between these two room types. So in this case, this database, if you go from the standard king to the deluxe king, there's more space. So, there's a better view. The deluxe king rooms have a view of the lake. So this upgrade title says upgrade your view, and it's really trying to emphasize that the guests can really enhance the view while they stay at your property. Now, the upgrade description, that will automatically pull from the room type description of the upgraded room type. So in this case, the Deluxe King is automatically populated here. You can leave that as is. Oftentimes, those are already quite descriptive, but if you'd like to add in any additional information, you can uncheck Use Existing and add in your additional information here. Any changes that you make to this upgrade description only affect the upselling module. It does not affect the existing room descriptions as it's been set up in the property module for this database. Once you've set up your upgrade description, you can then add your upgrade price. This is going to be the price per night, and this is $25 in this example. And you want to make sure that the active checkbox is selected. Then you can go ahead and click the Save button. Once you've saved this as a new upgrade, a room type upgrade, you can also choose a default image to show, and that is the first image that will appear when the guest is going through the mobile check-in. So they'll see that image first, and again, these images are going to be from the selection of images that you've uploaded in the previous step. Great. So now we've completed the room type upgrades. I've just shown an example here of one, but you would repeat that process, like I said, for all of your standard rooms, and then any other upgrading that you're doing for any of your next category rooms or next levels. The last thing you need to do in order to enable these functions with your mobile check-in is to go to the Mobile Check-in Configuration tab. You'll click the Modify button, and you'll place a check mark here in the Enable Mobile Upsell. This is a little checkbox in the top left-hand corner. You can then click the Save button. Now, if you'd like to exclude any particular types of guests or reservations from these upselling offers, you can actually do so by client type, market segment, or by rate code. So we've got all of those exclusion offers available down below, and these are completely customizable depending on how you have your database set up. One thing to note, though, is that it is standard across all databases that group block guests or guests that have booked as part of a wholesaler block will not be offered an upgrade. And that's because group blocks and wholesaler blocks are contracted for specific room types at a specific contracted price. So because those are often quite heavily regulated, they are omitted from any sort of upselling or automated upgrading in this case. You may also choose to omit certain types of third-party reservations if there's ever a worry about the guest payment processes there. So some of our properties may choose to also omit any OTA prepaid or OTA hotel collect guest as well. But again, totally up to you. This is very customizable in your own database, and you can always change these settings at any time. Just a reminder that anytime that you're making changes to any of these settings, you do want to click Save in order to save those changes. Otherwise, it will revert to the previous settings. Great. So once you have set up your mobile upselling and upgrading, those are now available to distribute as part of the mobile pre-arrival check-in for your guests. So once again, you do need to have that mobile permission and the upselling permission. Now I want to take a moment and actually show you what this looks like from the front desk point of view when a guest does upgrade their room. Like I said, the front desk agent doesn't need to do any steps, but it is important for the front desk to be notified when a guest does upgrade or include an enhancement for their stay. So I'm just going to open up the RoomKey database here. Great. And on screen, in my arrival screen here, I have that guest that completed their mobile check-in, Mr. David Rikers. I can see his reservation here with his upgraded room type, the DQQ. And I also have a notification or an mobile check-in icon here. So this icon lets me know, or is a visual indicator, clue, to tell me that the guest has completed their mobile check-in. If I double click on this icon, this will now generate the mobile check-in form. This is very similar or equivalent to a registration card, but it is in a digital format. So for those of you that are familiar with our mobile check-in and mobile checkout, these documents are saved to the guest reservation while they're in-house, and it's retained after the guest checks out. It will summarize the details of the booking, the reservation itself, and of course, because the guest has upgraded, I can also see the upgrade charges are listed here alongside any enhancement or other charge. Now, the guest did upgrade and provide their signature, so I do have that stored electronically, as well as the IP address and date and time that that guest completed their mobile check-in. So I can print a copy of this and have this filed at the front desk while the guest is in-house, or I can use the download button to download this as a PDF and save it outside of RoomKey. Otherwise, that document will simply be saved and associated with this reservation for Mr. Rikers. Now, next to the mobile check-in icon, I also have a notes icon. This is pretty standard. This lets me know that there are reservation notes on file for this reservation, so I can see a preview of those notes in the bottom right-hand corner. Or I can double-click on the note itself, and that will expand to show me on screen in a pop-up window. Here I can see the details of the pre-arrival check-in and the information about the guest arrival. So some of the details are automatically updated for this reservation, but one additional element that you can include or comes standard with our mobile and upselling features is the ability to receive messages. Now, these messages are contained within the Message Center, so I can access that here from my Operations menu. But typically, what you would receive is a notification at the top of your screen in RoomKey that lets you know you have a message waiting for you. When you receive that notification, you can actually click on that notification and it will bring you directly here to the My Tasks tab inside the Message Center. Now, there's lots of features here in the Message Center, and if you'd like to know more detailed information about all of these communication tools, you can check out our communications webinar that was performed 2 years ago, but it goes through all of these different tabs and features, and that is available on our support website as well. But for our purposes today, I wanted to show you that anytime a guest does upgrade or choose to upgrade their room type or add an enhancement, the front desk team or anyone who is enabled for these notifications will receive a notification similar to this one, where it lets the front desk agent know who has completed their mobile check-in and upgrade, and it gives the upsell details, including letting me know what the original room type was, what they upgraded to, and the fee or price per night. If the guest has gone ahead and also added an enhancement to their booking, they would also see that here, and I can see the total price for that enhancement listed as well. So what I really like about these tasks or notifications is that multiple people can receive those. If you have, let's say, 3 people working at the front desk and someone completes their mobile check-in, all 3 of those front desk agents will see a notification on their screen. If I am the first person to review this notification, mark it as complete, I can say upgrade noted, and that actually tracks my clerk ID. So it lets not only me, but also my team members know that I have acknowledged that upgrade, and that task now is marked as checked. So even though the other team members can view those details, they know that someone has already actioned that item or addressed that in some way. So in order to receive these types of messages, you do need to be part of a notification group. And I'm going to show you where you can set up that group and maybe modify who has access to these types of notifications. So back here to my RoomKey database, I'm going to go to System Configuration and Clerks. Here in the Clerks module, this is where you manage all of your users and clerk IDs. It shows a list of all of your active clerk IDs on this Users tab. You're going to move over to the Departments tab, and in this drop-down menu, you will select Mobile Notifications. When mobile and upselling are enabled for your database, this mobile notifications department is automatically created, and it will automatically add all of your active clerk IDs to this group. Now, in some cases, you may have some users that do not need to receive information about upgrades. Maybe the accounting or housekeeping team don't need to see that info. So you can select the clerk ID and just remove that using the black arrow in the center here. Now, if there are some users that have been removed from this group, but you want to add them back in, you can simply select them from the right-hand side and add them back into the group there. Any changes that you make to this mobile notifications group, you do need to click OK in order to save those changes. And if any of those changed or added users are currently logged into RoomKey, they do need to log out and log back in order for this mobile notifications group to take effect on their clerk ID. Wonderful. So when a guest does do their mobile check-in, they've upgraded their room type, the last thing that the front desk agent needs to do once they've collected any authorization or anything or credit card, they can then click the check-in button and then just proceed with the check-in as you normally would. So here I'm just going to click check-in, and I have that credit card interface. So when I process that authorization for room and tax plus $100, I want to make sure I'm getting that approval message here on screen. And per normal operations, RoomKey will always pop up with any reservation notes on file. So I can simply close that pop-up there. And now I see my guest is in-house. They are in the DQQ room, so that deluxe queen room. And when I go to their folio, I'll see the room charge, the upgrade charge, and the enhancement charge. Now, these are automatically applying for me. So if I was to look at the full stay, it would repeat these charges each and every day throughout the guest's stay. Now, the way that these have been set up, the upgrade and the overnight parking, is that these are actually created as guest services inside the guest services module. Now, any enhancements like overnight parking, valet parking, any amenities in the room, those need to be set up as a guest service ahead of time. And we do have a really great webinar that shows you how to create guest services alongside the transaction codes module. So those webinars are complimentary and are available on our support website. The upgrade charge, though, in this case, for the purpose of mobile upselling, this is automatically created for you when the mobile and upselling modules are added to your database. So again, we try and make it really easy for you to start using these tools right away. So you don't need to create this fee or anything. It will automatically appear inside the guest services module. Here in the guest services module, if you scroll down, or in this case, I have to scroll a little further there, you'll see the upgrade room charge. Now, this is different from an upgrade fee. This upgrade fee has been created manually, much the same way that you can create overnight parking. But the upgrade room charge that is created automatically with your mobile upselling tool is going to automatically populate here, and you'll see that it is an upgrade transaction code designated by your room charge. So we've gone one step further and made this very intuitive that the upgrade fee is going to reflect the room charge itself. So this will affect your ADR reporting. It will be reflected as room revenue alongside this room charge code. So if you offer different types of room charge codes, like taxable and non-taxable room charge codes, the upgrade fee is automatically going to match that type of room charge. So if this guest had booked qualifies for tax exempt status, meaning that they would have a tax exempt room charge, the upgrade charge would also be tax exempt. In this example, this guest has booked a standard room charge with taxes, so this upgrade charge will also have taxes. And you can see that reflected here in the tax column. So the total for the upgrade will be $28. So like I said, those are automatically created for you. You don't have to go through any manual steps there. So let's head back to our presentation here and talk about when you can start using these upgrading features. Of course, with the manual upgrading, whether it's complimentary upgrade or a paid upgrade, you can get started right away. These features are already come standard inside each and every RoomKey database. So you will be able to utilize any of those tools, whether you're giving complimentary upgrades or paid upgrades with an incentive for the front desk team. Now, when it comes to the automated upgrading, this is our mobile upselling tool. This is not part of the standard RoomKey database, so you will need to contact our inside sales manager. His contact information is listed here from Mr. Michael Mitchell, and he'll be able to describe and offer these add-ons for your database in RoomKey. Okay. So whether you're doing manual upgrading or automated upgrading, RoomKey has a lot of options available to suit your business and to suit your guests. So I'm going to open up the floor now to see if there's any questions. And I'm also going to take a look at our Q&A here. Great, so we've got a question asking me to please show how to add a picture to the guest enhancement service add-on. Absolutely. Let me go ahead and show you that in a live database. There we go. So I'm going to System Configuration. In the Upselling module, instead of Room Upselling, I'm going to go to Guest Services. The Guest Services Upselling tool will show up on screen, and it shows me those services that have been added as part of the enhancement category. So you can click Add to add in any additional ones. Just a reminder, you do have to have these set up as a guest service in the Guest Services module first before you can add them here to the enhancements. When you add a guest service, in this module, off to the right-hand side, it's going to give you the ability to add an image. So you can click Add Image in the top right-hand corner. Let me just bring this over. That will open up your file browser. So you need to have the image on your computer first in order to select that from your file browser. Once you select the image, you can then click Open, and that will then display off to the right-hand side. When you have images, you can have them, you can have multiple images, and you can also edit your images at any time. When you edit an image, you can add an image description, and you can also customize the sort order here. Once you make those changes, you want to make sure you're clicking Save in order to save those changes. Excellent. Of course, the other image that we had there was for valet parking, and that one just displays as well. Wonderful. Are there any other questions before we wrap up for today? No? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and close down our webinar. Thank you so much for joining in. For those of you that are joining our live presentation, if you do have any suggestions for future webinars, make sure you use that webinar survey at the very end. And we look forward to seeing you again in the next webinar. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.